Freeholder Di Nicola.
Here.
Freeholder Felice.
Present.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Here.
Freeholder Voss.
Here.
Freeholder Zur.
Here.
Chairman Tinelli.
Here. Evidence of quorum is present. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask everyone to please remain standing for a moment of silence. Our thoughts are with the 49 victims who perished and the 53 wounded and the city of Orlando as they recover from Sunday's senseless shooting. Thank you. Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
May 3rd, 2016, work session, all present. May 3rd, 2016, public session, all present.
I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Now motion to open meeting to the public.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll now have a hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker has expired, the timekeeper will announce that the time has expired. Please fill out a slip of paper, find it to the right of the dais, with your name, address, and general topic. Paul Nichols.
Good evening, Paul Nichols, N-I-C-K-E-L-S. How are you? Good to see you all. I've been here in a while. I've been getting a lot of calls lately on evictions. And these people are calling me now a little more reasonable, not like last minute. But now we have a problem with, I don't know who funds legal services over on Moore Street. I've tried to contact them. I couldn't get through to them. There's a couple cases where people were going to be evicted. We're trying to prevent homelessness now. Basically, they've had to, it's putting a strain on the people that because I send people to the Mental Health Law Project too, and they're having problems, as you know, with people, and it's people are starting to panic, and I don't know, I spoke to several people. I just thought there might be a, it's a county division that whoever goes out and does evictions, is it too simple? I don't know how people would know. Isn't it public when someone, is going to be evicted? I mean, people put it in papers or something. I don't know. But like if someone, no, it's not. So, I don't know. But, it just, there's people that are calling me and they can't, there's nowhere to go. I think there's only 3 places and nobody has funding right now. Everybody claims, that they have homeless prevention, but and I just saw a thing in the paper today about cutbacks in emergency assistance. Well, we all know about the TRA thing, but now there's cutbacks in that. So this is going to cause a lot of problems. There's going to be people that are going to become homeless. And there's just there's all kinds of problems with that. And it's, because, mental health services, they don't have to go to Mental Health Law Project. I would think any regular lawyer can do an eviction or, would do whatever they do to postpone it or see if they can work things out. But, there's several kinds of problems with that. Also, I know that there's a lot of the mental health services providers that are, I know some people that are right now that have problems. They can't be anywhere, or they can't be in a hospital because they're not ill enough, and they can't be anywhere else. Someone with a heart condition, I know, is one of them. Okay, thank you. So I'll end on a good note quickly. I get to see Jane Linter next week, and I will be coming out with a new resource guide because we got some senior stuff and whatever they have on the 2nd floor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Terry Fisher.
just have a quick question. Terry Fisher. I was born and raised and grew up in Passaic County, but there's something about Bergen that just attracts me like a magnet. And, you know, I just would love to go to work here, but now the only question I have is, on employment, you have your different departments, the Board of Social Services, the Board of Taxation, the Election Board, the Administrative Section. Do I fill out, like, if I want to spread my wings a little bit, do I fill out applications with each different department, or does one personnel agency handle everything here with us, the job applications?
If you wanted to fill out for the various job applications,
For different departments?
you'd fill it out all in personnel. But
All of the personnel office
the
here?
personnel department here would process it for all the different county departments.
Oh, so I would have to specify what department I want then?
Right.
Okay,
The Board of Social Services is separate from here,
but that application will be filled out over here?
not for social services.
Oh, how about the Board of Elections, the Taxation Board, over here?
That's here, that's in this building.
Okay, great, that's the only question I had, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sal Delisandro?
Yes, Dealessandrl.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good evening. Sal Delisandro, Borough of Moonachie. I was here approximately about a month ago inquiring about who's responsible for the cleaning of the east and west rise of tidal gates. As of 2 days ago, nothing has been changed. Nothing has changed at either one of the tidal gates. I was wondering if someone could lead me in the right direction, or possibly give me some type of inkling of what department is responsible for this cleaning, and possibly when it would be getting done. I understand that right now we're lacking on rainfall, but you never know when we can get flash rains, 5-6 inches. I mean, I'm talking a little high here, but right now, the problem is with those tidal gates not being cleaned, the ditches that lead to them, which encompass Teterboro, Moonachie, and part of Carlstadt and Little Ferry, are surcharged. In other words, they're up at high limits that they shouldn't be. If the tidal gate was working properly, those creeks and ditches would be at a much lower height. And if we did get a heavy rainfall, we have that much of a space in these creeks and ditches to handle that larger flow. That's my little talk for tonight.
So, Mr. Delisandro, we spoke at the last meeting that you were at. So we had to find out who first was responsible. If it was the Sports and Exposition Authority, now that they assumed the Meadowlands responsibilities, or if it was the county's responsibility to maintain those and keep them clean. So I've asked, I know that you spoke with the administrator prior to the meeting, and the administrator assured me he's going to get us an answer to that and move on it as soon as he can.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. I haven't heard this name in a little while. Jerry Drummond.
Wow. I hear it in my sleep. Welcome back from retirement.
Yes. Hey, Jerry. Jerry Drummond from Dumont, New Jersey, Bergen County. First, just a question. You're going to have 2 meetings tonight, one a regular meeting and then a budget meeting?
One meeting.
So the budget is part of?
Yes, it's part of the agenda.
Part of the agenda. Okay, usually when they would have it, you get 2 chances to speak, just for the record.
No, it's only resolutions.
Okay. I just want to, for the record, give you a copy of this. I'm sure you may have read it. It was a letter I had January 14th of 2016 on the constitutional amendment with quarterly payments. I said that that was sensible but sad, okay? But it's a current worker response to the follies to which they have been subjected. And to roll it back, the pension plan I'm a retiree. I'm getting my pension now. You have people who are active workers. They're looking forward to get a pension. They're putting in 7% right now. I was putting in 7%, before I retired on July 1st. The system in the mid-90s was working. It had over 100% of what they called targeted funded ratio. There was no problem with the fund. And then what happened was it was so good that the governor then, Christie Whitman, said, let's have a pension holiday. We won't pay, you won't pay, but the workers will continue to pay. And then at some point a few years later, you started to pay, as all the municipalities did. And then the state was like off and on, off and on. So you have today a situation whereby, let's say, we're 75% target funded ratio, which is sufficient, as actuarials would say, for the program to continue. Because the tight new accounting system that they put in is ridiculous. It depends upon everybody working, what was everybody here, if they worked through to the end of where you could expect to be worked and how much you would make, what would be needed to have it. But that's not the way it works, because you guys are still working. I'm the only one who retired, right? They're looking up here, right? And you're still working, and you didn't retire and grab everything. Not that I went. So
I'm retired,
yes, you're retired,
but I'm still working.
but you're still working. I don't. But see, you're in a different. A teacher's system is different than the purse.
I know.
If it was the same, you wouldn't be able to be collecting. If I went back to work for the county, I could make no more than $15,000. Okay. At any rate, as we talk now, there's about 2 weeks to go down in Trenton, and they're getting ready to come up with an amendment to the Constitution that would be proposed to the voters in November. It hasn't been finalized yet. It's like almost there. We're for it because the workers, the workers have been screwed basically. With this in 2011, the governor promised he would do certain things. He didn't do it. Now you could say that doesn't bother us because we're better. No, but one of the proposals is to mix everybody together. Another proposal is to lower the health benefits, our benefits. So say platinum, lower them to gold or silver or something like that. Okay, so to wrap up the thing, I'll give you a copy of this. Any meetings, that you guys have, that the administration has, relating to pensions and health benefits that impact on retirees, I'm a retiree, I want to be there. And it has to be public. There's no secret backdoor deals. Any discussion about options, we got to be there. This is what a democracy is.
Great.
Thank you.
Ken Russell.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ken Russell, R-U-S-S-E-L-L, Hackensack, New Jersey. I'm a senior motor vehicle operator for the Division of Transportation, Department of DPW, County of Bergen. And I'm also the president of Local 655. I did not come here with a prepared statement. I just wanted to speak briefly. As we all have people to answer to, I have people to answer to with our members. And since 2007, when I became president of Local 655, I've worked hand in hand with Mr. Drummond and now Mr. Joe Goodyear. And the reason I'm here is that we do have a date set up for contract talks. We do know that we have a date set up June 30th. We sat down with the administration on March 14th with a proposal, and basically we haven't gone anywhere since then. But we've been very patient, we understand. The reason I'm here, though, is I started working for the county in 1991, and I like what I do, and let's face it, none of us are getting rich here, but we do what we do. And a lot of our members over the years have been working here, basically. A lot of our members work a second job. In the case of the women that work, their husbands are working. And in a lot of cases, it's for the benefits. And we understand it's what it is. But recently what's happened is, that they put a target on the back of government workers, making us all look like we're doing nothing, getting paid a lot, and getting big pensions, which is not the case.
And the thing is that in 2010, when we sat down with the administration, they were talking about layoffs, and we all worked with each other. We not only knew that we were going to have to contribute to health care, we agreed to do it a year early. We agreed to furlough days. Now, I know the administration said in exchange jobs were not lost. However, that was good for all sides because we continued to provide service to the residents. Losing people does not help our residents. As we all know, with health care being where it is, and we're currently in Chapter 78, I've spoken to most of my members, and we know it's not something you created, but since January, everybody is basically seeing significantly less. They're taking home less than they were taking home. I mean, even a wash we could live with. We're actually taking home less, and we understand this was not created by this, but we're trying to work. However, we're trying to go forward with contract talks, and I would respectfully request that you take into consideration what our members are up against, because basically we're going backwards. I'm not sure where we stand, if maybe next year or the year after.
Mr. Russell.
Can I get a little bit more? I understand going forward we might be able to maybe negotiate what our contribution would be, but at this time we know we can't. I would just respectfully request that you take that into consideration when we're looking for, some sort of financial advancement, because, we're out there in the trenches taking care of our residents, and I'm not saying morale is low, but everybody's is really hurt out there, and we're not asking you to, for a whole lot. We're just asking, please take into consideration as we move forward with contract talks, the state of our members. Our members are county residents that live in the county, pay taxes in the county, the children go to school here. We spend our money in the county, and all we're asking is a fair shake going forward. So I respectfully, request that you take that into consideration as we move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Maria Abastori.
Good evening. My name is Maria Aberasturi, Aberasturi, and I'm from Teaneck, New Jersey. I came here tonight to thank you all for recognizing today, June 15th, as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. This is a day where throughout the country, throughout the world, people are hosting events to raise awareness about elder abuse. It's estimated that only 20% of elder abuse victims are actually reported and seek services. Here in Bergen County, just last year, our Adult Protective Services program received 975 referrals for people who are elderly, people with disabilities who are being abused, neglected, or exploited. As I told the Board of Social Services at their meeting this month, I was cleaning out the office and I came across 2005 statistics, and I saw that in 2005 the same unit received 422 referrals. So that's more than doubled in the last 10 years. Unfortunately, the resources to help victims, elder victims of violence, have not doubled. And I think part of that reason is because people aren't aware of what a tremendous problem it is, and how it affects every socioeconomic, religious, racial community that we have in our country. And it's my belief that if more people were aware of the problem, that they would require that more services were provided, not only to assist victims, but for prevention. So I'd just like to, because you are policymakers, just offer you some risk factors for elder abuse, because these are areas that I think when you're thinking about programs and funding, that if you can concentrate efforts on risk factors, then people aren't going to be calling us at APS. One of the hugest risk factors is isolation. Both victims and the perpetrators are often very socially isolated. So programs that encourage our seniors and people with disabilities to participate in the community, to get out there, to be active members. Those kinds of programs are really good at preventing elder abuse. Because elder abuse, like other forms of abuse, isolation is key. In domestic violence, batterers will often isolate their spouse or partner so that they can have control. That same dynamic occurs with elders and their abusers. Another very common, can I give you one more? Another very common risk factor that, again, I think you guys can help with is that caregivers are often ill-prepared and ill-trained. So programs that support our caregivers are very important. And I know that here in the county we have programs like that. Before I leave, I was at an event this morning. I saw Freeholders are there. And Bergen County is one of the 14 elder abuse shelters in the country, right here in Bergen County at Rockley. It's called Senior Haven, and I wanted to give you guys this information because I know you come across people. So it's they have an 800 number if you come across a senior victim of domestic violence at over 65. This is shelter. It's 90 to 120 days, and it's at no cost.
Thank you.
Maria, Sharon, if I may, I have that information also out to the public if anyone wishes to take them as well. And I brought the pins from this morning, and everyone on the board is wearing their pin in honor of World Elder Abuse.
Thank you. I know you guys have all been very supportive of protective services and programs for our seniors, so I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joe Goodyear.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. My name is Joe Goodyear. I'm from Bergen, and I'm also the president of Local 755. Just to build a little bit on what the president of USWU Local 655, Ken Russell, had said. We have our second contract meeting on June 30th. Our members have been bringing home less and less money in their paychecks for years now, and they need to be treated fairly. Now, hopefully, it has just taken a few months because the administration hasn't figured out a way to improve on our proposals, and we'll have an MOA very quickly. Right, Julian? So, hopefully that's the case. Well, what I would like to speak about is something that my predecessor, Jerry Drummond, spoke about, our pensions, which is a very important issue. It's one of the biggest issues for us as a union, and this constitutional amendment is so important. As you know, the workers have been putting in increasing amounts into their pension payments, while the state has not put in their fair share. I must commend you as freeholders, because you as freeholders have put in the amount that you need to put in each and every year, since I've been here anyway, and I commend you for it. Excellent work, ladies and gentlemen. I want to mention that because you've put this amount in, that's why Bergen County has kept its AAA bond rating, and the state has lost numerous levels of ratings throughout the years because of these pension payments. And I would like you to consider publicly supporting the amendment with a resolution. Now, I know you may not have any actual power over that resolution, but I think it's important to have the freeholders' support on that, since you have been doing your fair share. Okay? All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe. Not seeing anyone else willing to speak, may I have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Will clerk please read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
611-16 through 647-16 and 650-16 through 666-16.
I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Yes.
Freeholder Please.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zuer.
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli.
Yes. Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled to table? If so, will the clerk please read?
Resolution on non-consent is 647?
667.
667, okay. Which is a resolution authorizing the adoption of the 2016 budget.
I have a motion to introduce that.
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
No?
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss?
Yes.
Freeholder Zur?
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli?
Yes. Resolution passes. Are there any resolutions pulled or tabled?
Resolution 648-16 and 649-16 were pulled today.
Thank you. Ordinances. Will the clerk please read ordinance 16-6 by title only?
Bond ordinance amending section 3A of bond ordinance number 95-18, finally adopted on May 3rd, 1995, amending section 3A of bond ordinance 98-36, finally adopted on October 21st, 1998, and appropriating a $1,636,000 contribution from the Borough of Emerson, all to provide for the Kindercomack Road Improvements Borough of Emerson Project Phases 1 through 3 to be undertaken by the county.
I have a motion to introduce the ordinance.
Second.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes?
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss?
Yes.
Freeholder Zur?
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli?
Yes. Clerk, please read ordinance 16-7 by title only.
Bond ordinance providing for the fiscal year 2016 county and program by the County of Bergen appropriating $7,604,500, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $7,604,500 bonds or notes of the county to finance the cost thereof.
I'm sorry. May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes?
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss?
Yes.
Freeholder Zur?
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance 16-7 passes first reading.
Clerk, please read ordinance 16-9 by title only.
As a point of order, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, but before the title is read, and then I know we have to vote, I was remiss not to ask a question at the work session. The parking policy, I know we discussed, will volunteers have to pay for parking?
No.
Volunteers for boards, volunteers who come in the evening, those who have contacted us.
The way it was explained to us is there are going to be designated spots that the volunteers will not have to pay for parking.
Okay, and then could I make a request before the adoption if the parking policy could be attached to the fee schedule for the garage as a part of that ordinance?
There is, I know, a number of issues with regard to the parking policy, even in terms of the courts and different locations once the first floor finally opens to allow for the judges and other court staff to be able to park in the Justice Center garage.
Yes.
So with regard to the policy for those who are going to be able to park without pay, we could probably do a policy statement with regard to that, but the overall policy, I know for the complete parking regulations, is not completed yet.
Okay, so would it be appropriate to request then that that portion be attached to the fee schedule for the
Yes.
adoption?
Yes.
Okay.
With regard to the non-payment requirement for volunteers?
Please.
Okay. And I can represent that that is the case. And also, even if designated spaces are not available, there'll be a validation option that'll be available for volunteers who have to take tickets from the ticket machine once it's open. There'll be a system in place to validate their ticket so they wouldn't have to pay upon exiting the lot.
That's great. Thank you.
Please read the title.
An ordinance establishing the revised 2016 fee schedule for the Bergen County Justice Center parking garage.
Motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes?
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan?
Yes.
Freeholder Voss?
Yes.
Freeholder Zur?
Yes.
Chairman Tinelli?
Yes.
Ordinance 16-9 passes first reading.
Now have freeholder committee reports.
Chairman, may I just inquire as to whether or not you need to have a version of the actual ordinance as amended to reflect the change that was discussed by council.
I would propose that you, and I would defer also to Freeholder Council, that you would not need a formal amendment because the substance of the schedule fee is going to remain the same, and we would just be providing a policy statement that would be filed along with the actual document.
May I inquire of our council?
I think that's right, Freeholder and Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Yes, sir? No, fine. We can now have freeholder committee reports.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I just want to take this time to thank the people that I worked with. First, all my colleagues in the Freeholder Board. As budget chair for the second year in a row, we did it in 5 days versus 6 days. But I want to really thank the clerk, the CFO, all the staff in getting this information together, because it's a moving target. From the time that it's presented to us, there's changes to it. I'll never forget what David Gantz has said, that a budget is a statement of a proposition of what's important to the county, what we feel we need to fund and support. As a person that's grown up in Bergen County my entire life, it's been living in Fairlawn and now in River Edge. The services that are provided are for a whole host of people that need it really, that's their last stop in their quest for a good quality of life. And for others, whether it be Bergen Academy, on their way to make a wonderful life for them. I take this job as freeholder. I've been doing this for 5.5 years, very seriously, and I've taken this honored role as chairperson of the Finance Board and the budget with great seriousness. You can't get everything you want. That's just part and parcel to the world we live in. Unfortunately, maybe they should look at, other government agencies should look at how we govern here. I consider each and every one of my colleagues as good friends, and we can agree to disagree. We've made tough decisions. We condensed this in a matter of 5 days. In fact, I'm going to get to miss Joe seeing him at 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock when we started. But nevertheless, that was my responsibility, was to shepherd this budget along and to make sure that it was done in a judicious manner for the people of Bergen County, because without having a delay, we were able then to have them, the municipalities, strike a tax rate in the appropriate manner so they don't have to send out estimated tax bills. There are a lot of things we have no control over, but the things we did, I think we set priorities. I want to thank again, first of all, my colleagues on this board for their due diligence, for their attendance, for their attention, and letting me move this process along in a very expeditious manner. As my father, as an elected official, previously has said, just do the right thing, and I've tried to do that. And I hope this budget will provide the necessary services for our residents that we hope it will. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Privilege Nicola.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to mention a few of the events that took place already this month. A lot of spirit, I'll say, spiritualism, and a lot of talent as well. We started the month with Peace Island Institute's 2016 award ceremony, and that was held at the Hasbrook Heights Hilton. The keynote speaker was Assemblywoman Holly Shapizi, and the entire ceremony was about unity, respect, moving actually beyond tolerance, because tolerance isn't enough. It's truly understanding and empathizing and being a part of something greater than yourself. And that was a wonderful way to really celebrate that. And then we moved into our own grand iftar celebration here in Bergen County, which was held downstairs at the plaza to recognize the month of Ramadan. It was a cold celebration. We were very close, if not only out of need for body heat. It was windy, but very well attended as well. And it was good to hear from a lot of law enforcement there to break the fast, and then it was celebrated with food from many different communities. That evening, we also recognized some of the winners of the Teen Arts Festival Visual Arts. And you'll find all of those works downstairs in the lobby. Incredible talent from middle school and high school students. I would venture to say that you will truly be changed by each work of art that you stand in front of for however short of time. So I suggest everyone go down there and visit that and really get changed. I also attended the Teterboro Airport Community Benefit Fund Scholarship Luncheon, which was held at the Falcon Dassault hangar. I've never been in such a clean hangar in my life. And it was wonderful to be among scholarship winners from public high schools throughout southern Bergen County. The winners tend to be focused on IT, computer sciences, and also engineering, especially aerospace engineering, which is a great field, having one of those in my own family. I sat with Mayor Fostick, whose own daughter was a winner, I'll say more than 20 years ago, not to give away her age, but she certainly went on to study well. And we wish all of the awardees that congratulations and success in the future. And that includes all of the student awardees from Teterboro High School. I was honored to represent the Board of Chosen Freeholders the evening that the awards were given. And it was all of those students that we have seen behind the camera throughout the year, filming our meetings here in the public meeting room under the tutelage of Dave and Frank Fuchs. And I wish I knew your name, or I would mention it as well. It was great to see not only the number of students who received awards that night, but the breadth of the awards, all of the different fields they were going in, and the internship awards, all of the businesses who these young people have interned at were at, sharing stories of how they benefited from having these students be a part of what they do. And many of them went on to get paying summer jobs, which isn't a bad thing either. Last night, I attended a very long meeting in Teaneck. They recognized a lot of community service award people there as well, and they're preparing for their own reorganization meeting and sadly moving on following the untimely passing of their mayor, Lizette Parker. One thing that they did do, despite all that has happened, is adopt their ordinance for access for all last night. So that committee will be up and running very shortly. Truly a tribute to the town, a tribute to the mayor, and they are moving on to join many, many municipalities throughout Bergen right now who have stepped up to put these committees together. And I do want to say something. I was the no vote on the budget this evening. I certainly appreciate the work of the Budget Committee and my colleagues, and I very much appreciate all of the work of our employees here in Bergen County. Everything that you do and the services that you provide. It's so, so important. That is the core mission of county government, and that is where our focus should be. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Go to the boss.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, I'm very happy to say that when we worked on the budget, we saved over $700,000 from the original budget that was presented. but not at the expense of things that are very near and dear to me, which happen to be education and mental health. And it probably was the most challenging budget that I have worked on, and I've worked on about 25 budgets in my career as a politician. And I have to say that Freeholder Felice, you are amazing. Last year when he was budget chair, when he said we were going to do the budget in 6 days, I said, that's impossible. This year, we did it in 5 days. And I have to say, we were putting in like 12-hour days. It was an arduous task, but I mean, almost everybody attended every single one of those meetings. You did a yeoman's job. You will be remembered for many, many years for the excellent job that you did. I also wanted to say a big, big thank you to my friend and Joe Lapino, who is the best CFO I think I've ever met. You were really great, Joe, and you put in so much time.
Behind the wall.
And I'd like to thank the county executive who did a good job and was very cooperative with us. But one of the amazing things in this budget is that our surrogate, Mike Dressler, has been our surrogate for, I guess, many, many, many years, almost 20 years. And for those of you, I think all of you know that the surrogate handles wills and guardianships and estates. And this county has over 1 million people. And the cost in his office has not gone up in over 20 years. I mean, this is an amazing feat. So I'm very proud of our budget. Just to get off that, and again, I say congratulations to you and Joe. On June the 3rd, I attended a rally about Jersey gaming. I'm sure all of you are aware of the fact that there is quite a controversy about bringing gaming up to North Jersey. I have to say that when I was in the state legislature 10 years ago, I introduced, along with several other assembly people, a bill asking that gaming be allowed in North Jersey. And at that point in time, it didn't go anyplace. And I think subsequently over the years, people have tried to. Right now, if you look at the polls, it's 50-50. Do we want gaming up here or do we not want gaming? There is going to be a referendum. I'm not telling you one way or another how to vote. Believe me, that has to be your decision. But it will be a referendum on the November 8th ballot. So read all the articles you can to see, you know. But just as a point, it has been, we've protected Atlantic City for many, many years. But as all of you know, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, all have gaming. Is it a good thing? I'm not saying it is. Is it a bad thing? I'm not saying it is. But please keep abreast of it and do your due diligence and come out and vote in November. Freeholder DiNicola mentioned the Grand Iftar. It was probably 40 degrees and we were sitting outside for about 2 hours. And it was a wonderful event, but it was certainly a very cool event, as she said. I'm very involved with something called Project Literacy. And tomorrow they're going to have their awards night. Last year, Freeholder DiNicola was the speaker. This year, I will be the speaker. And I'm also on the board. And as an educator, I have to say how important Project Literacy is. About a week and a half ago, there was a very good article in the Bergen Record about Project Literacy. This is for adults only. It costs nothing. All of the teachers are volunteers. It is amazing because we live in a county of almost 1 million people, and over 100,000 people in Bergen County cannot read above a 5th grade level, or some cannot read at all. This is a very, very serious. I've been doing a lot of research on literacy in the world, and you would think the United States would be in the top 10. We're not. We're not. Over 44 million people in this country really cannot read, and I'm talking about adults, I'm not talking about children. It is so serious that it's compromising all aspects of our economy because people can't fill out job applications, they can't read road signs, they can't read prescription bottles. It is a detriment to society if people can't read. One of the things I've made my mission is to go around and talk to everybody about the fact that there are adult services. And one of the nice things about this project is it's one-on-one. An adult doesn't come in and feel like he's going to have to be put into a classroom with other people where he might be or she might be embarrassed by the fact that their literacy rate is so low. And it's one-on-one, and we match people up. Like if a woman my age came in who couldn't read, I could be her tutor. We would have a rapport with one another. I brought a young man, 28 years old, to the project, and I teamed him up with another 25-year-old. And so there's a rapport there, okay? No embarrassment. It is an epidemic, and please, please, if you know somebody who has difficulty in reading, we're doing financial literacy too, because people don't know how to balance their checkbook. They don't know about credit cards. So it's all kind of a mixture of things to help people get along well in this world. And it's become my passion to, promote this particular thing. And the county very nicely today in one of the resolutions donated $4,500 to Project Literacy because they realize how essential it is. And that's a very small amount. But as I said, everyone is a volunteer. The only thing that we need money for is for the materials to help people, learn. And again, Maria, you did a great job at the Board of Social Services explaining the problem with elder abuse. It is, again, rampant. And I know people who are afraid to say that they think somebody in their neighborhood is being a victim of elder abuse, but please, we have so many services on the county that will help. And this is also aphasia awareness, and we have this wonderful facility here in Bergen County, the Adler Aphasia Association, and there are many, many people who suffer from aphasia that can be helped very, very much by this wonderful foundation. And before I take up any more time, that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Sullivan?
Thank you, Chairman. Well, first I will start with the budget. This is the second budget I've had the pleasure of sitting on as a freeholder. The second, which we have sat in the room and worked in a bipartisan fashion to get through the budget line by line. Everyone had their share to tell us where we could save more money in the budget. A little disappointed it wasn't a unanimous vote like it was last year, as the process remained the same. We did it the exact same way. Everyone had their chance to make cuts, and we went through that budget line by line. As a board, I know this has been said, from the original budget, we cut almost $750,000 from the budget that was presented us from the county executive, and that's not done by accident. That's done by people sitting and working together. I'm glad to see that the last $100,000 that I proposed remained in the cuts, but it's not about just me. Everyone on this board made cuts, and I think everyone should own this budget. The one thing I'm glad about in our budget is we remain committed to funding mental health and addiction services. And we are going to continue to fight against the heroin epidemic, all epidemics, mental health, everything. These are the things that maybe people don't quite understand, that what's involved in the budget process. And I know personally, I'm not going to give up the fight. And these are the things, mental health we've raised such an awareness over the last few years, and we certainly don't want to backpedal and stop the progress by cutting things like that from the budget. And I was glad we maintained and added to mental health as well. Budget also, Bergen Community College. Years ago, there was millions and millions of dollars cut from that college. And people need a place to go to get an education. I know I said this numerous times. When my daughter was out looking for colleges, we went looking for colleges, and we were down in Rowan, which is Glassboro, and they mentioned Bergen Community by name. Don't be upset if you don't get in here. You get some wonderful, wonderful junior colleges, and they mentioned Bergen Community College, and I was very impressed. Thankfully, my daughter got into the program in Montclair that she was looking at, but it just shows you how well-respected Bergen Community College is, what we do, and how we need to continue to do our share to enable people to have an affordable education. Really on the budget, that's about it. Like I said, I was a little disappointed we couldn't do this in a completely unanimous vote, but it is what it is. But we all work very hard. I want to thank John Felice, our clerk, our chairman, everybody for the work that was put into the budget. John did a great job as usual. I don't usually like getting up that early.
None of us do.
I still managed to get the gel in my hair and look all right, but that's it's only because it's gel. That's all right. But thank you very much for your efforts. Hopefully I'll be here next year to do another budget, but it would be I'll be a little sad that you won't be there with me if I'm fortunate enough to be reelected. But thank you for everything you've done with this, the last 2 years on the budget process. Now just a few things that I want to bring up. The American Dream Home Ownership Fair. I attended that over the weekend. The fair brings together community banks, real estate agents, business professionals, nonprofit organizations. They bring them all together so first-time buyers can learn about the process of owning a home. In Bergen County, homeowners have a lot of pride, obviously, in their communities. And we want more people to stay here in Bergen County. We don't want you to leave, right? So we're hoping that people take advantage of this American Dream Home Ownership Fair, which is done by Mr. Esposito and his people. They do a wonderful job getting people together with lenders, getting people together to get mortgages, helping the first-time home buyers, and it's a wonderful program, and I'm happy to be there every year for that. Myself and a few of my colleagues attended the valedictorian breakfast. That was in Woodridge last week. That brought together the valedictorians, administrators, educators. Everyone was in one room to celebrate, and it was wonderful to know that there's a lot smarter people in the world than I. So they were wonderful. And speaking to that, our public schools consistently rank as the highest in the country on a local and a county level. And the valedictorian breakfast really brought that out. And I'm proud to say that public school education is working here in Bergen County. Just to touch on a point that was brought up here by a couple of our speakers, our teachers also are taking home less pay because of the cuts that were made into the health care. So it's not just, I don't want you guys to feel like it's just you. You know it's not just you. Anyone that's employed by the state, for the most part, has been taking home less money. And I happen to know that because my wife is a teacher and she takes home less money. Then even though her salary has gone up, it's based on a percentage. And so now she's taking home, because she rose, she takes home less. And as far as the pension payments go, Christy Whitman did say you didn't have to do that. You were able to back then let your dividends pay for your share of the payments. However, you know what happens when you let dividends pay. When the dividends go down, you need to pony up. So the smart move, I know the two town councils that I represented when I was on them, we continue to make the payments, and Bergen County continues to make the payments, and we don't take anything for granted. I'm sorry to be a little long-winded here tonight with the budget. Put me back here. The Teen Arts Awards was mentioned. Wonderful. Great minds again. Wonderful minds. Downstairs it's displayed. We were there, presented commendations to all the students. If you get on the way out tonight, take a look at all the arts that's displayed in the lobby. It's wonderful, and I congratulate all the kids. And last, the Filipino Independence Day flag raising is tomorrow at 12:30. We at the County Freeholders and Jim Tedesco, we ask you to join us for the flag raising right outside in the plaza. There'll be music, cultural performances, and a keynote address by the Philippine Consul General Mario Lopez de Leon. And those festivities will start at 12:30. That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Freeholder Gans?
Thank you, Chairman. I will try and be brief. I said I'd try.
Said Abe Lincoln before the Gettysburg Address.
Which was short.
363 words.
Yes.
You can say it with flowers. The iftar dinner was indeed a fitting way to honor Ramadan, and it was cold. I, however, left in the middle, came upstairs. I thought I had a jacket here, but instead I had an HPAE t-shirt, which I proudly put on. I then went downstairs and borrowed a jacket from the sheriff's department, and that's how I finished out a little bit warmer than my colleagues. I want to make some comments about the budget, and in particular, the wonderful job done by John Felice. I've been on the budget committee for 14 years, chaired it for 12. John, you did an outstanding job, and I think that the taxpayers of Bergen are the beneficiary of hard work and your shepherding this through. When you depart from here in December, I'm going to try and get a shepherd's hook for you as a suitable souvenir. I'm proud to say that one of the things that I've tried to do in the last couple of years is to be a voice for the veterans. My son was a combat veteran with service in Afghanistan, and we know that he suffered a head injury and subsequently committed suicide. The Veterans Administration still declines to address an obvious problem of 22 suicides each day that are acknowledged by them. It's 9,000 a year, which does not include any veterans in California, Texas, or Illinois. And when you add up what must be also there, this is a very serious problem. And in a period of just 5 or 6 years, more veterans have committed suicide than were killed in Vietnam. It's important that we not ignore the veterans and that we not ignore the problems that face them. Many have deep psychological issues as a result of post-traumatic stress, and it seems to me that we owe it to the veterans who defended freedom, and their deaths are a stark reminder that the price of freedom truly is not free. What would it be for a freeholder meeting if I didn't mention Bergen Wellness? So I'm going to. Bergen Wellness, you can get the card just by printing it offline. The address is right here. Frank Fuchs will insert it. This is a program that allows individuals to get a prescription card for themselves and for their pet. You know, I have a pet Tonkinese cat named Mimi. She's diabetic, and the cost of her insulin would normally be $300. With the Bergen Wellness card, the price goes down to $210. Bernadette McPherson, who served with me on this board for a number of years, went with her mother to get a hearing aid in Philadelphia, which is where her mom lives, and she was quoted $2,800. She gave the Bergen Wellness card, and she said she's carried the card for 10 years and she never even thought to use it, but she did it with her mom, and the cost went from $2,800 to $900. This is money in your pocket. Why everybody isn't talking about it or using it, I can't tell you. But for regular prescriptions, we have 43,000 users in Bergen County, and they've saved more than $15 million since the program was instituted. It's free. You can go to the Freeholder website and download the card, and you can join hundreds of your friends and neighbors and just start saving money. I want to add one more thing to my comments on the budget, and also my comments that I'm going to make now reflect a new way of county government operation, and it is the way that Jim Tedesco is being county executive. He clearly views his role as being more than just an executive. He is a partner with the Freeholder Board. He has involved us time and time again in decisions that in the past perhaps would not have been referred to the Freeholder Board at all, but given a fait accompli. And I want to congratulate him for that grand vision, because I think it's worked. And I think that it makes us and the County of Bergen taxpayers the better for it. That concludes my report, Chairman.
Thank you for your Bill Deser.
Thank you, Chairman. First, as to the budget, I want to thank the people who are sitting behind us, our aides, who did a Herculean job in completing and helping us do all the homework that was necessary, and to also thank all the department heads who answered so many questions that we had, specifically Joe Lupino, Michael Kaplan on the treasurer side. All of you worked so hard to enable us to complete this work and enable us to deliver over $700,000 worth of cuts, and more importantly, as Chairman Felice expressed, really underscore our priorities. Funding for education, for veteran services, for senior services, and for individuals with special needs. You know, of the 21 counties in the state of New Jersey, Bergen County has the second lowest tax rate, only beat by Cape May, which has just a fraction of our population and more importantly, a fraction of our services. We saw in this budget the realization of $3 million worth of savings from the realignment of the county police and the county sheriff. And we saved towns significantly by providing shared services and by providing the services that we do to really help municipalities realize budget savings as well, which will end up helping the taxpayers in the long run. We protected senior citizens and the vulnerable from funding consumer protection, where we recovered over $350,000 and generated over $400,000 in fines. We funded Project Search, which will give young adults with disabilities portable job skills. All of these things are tremendous accomplishments. And I agree with Freeholder Nina Cola when she says that the services that we provide are so, so important. What I don't understand is how she could say that and then vote against it. What we accomplished throughout the budget hearings was incorporating the cuts that were suggested by every single freeholder. I find it so unfortunate that Freeholder Nicola would break with the tradition of this board and put politics of an election year over good government, and that she would engage in grandstanding rather than lighting the candles in the darkness and helping find additional ways of saving the taxpayers of Bergen County money. I want to understand, Freeholder Nicola, can you please explain to me what you would have done differently in this budget so that we could have had a unanimous vote and done what we did last year? Can you please explain that to me?
Mr. Chairman?
I'm waiting for an explanation. You have anything?
Like the floor, I mean.
I'll be brief. I don't think I grandstood, if that's a word here. I simply gave my vote. My feeling is you have to vote for the budget as a whole, and I absolutely believe that the residents of Bergen County have been taxed enough.
But what would you have cut? Would you have cut $6.5 million from education? Because you've done that before. Or would you have cut veteran services?
I didn't do that before.
Your budget that you voted for, with the Republican majority that you voted for and supported.
That was a capital budget. That was not the operating budget.
But throughout that budget, veteran services were cut. Senior services were cut. I guess what I'm saying.
Keep it to your floor now, please.
Thank you. I'm very proud of the work that we did to deliver savings to the Bergen County residents. These are the fixed costs that we had to grapple with were challenging. It was debt service to projects that were begun long before most of us were on this board. It was medical care costs, and we're going to continue as a board to prioritize the services and to, more importantly, prioritize coming up with more efficient and effective ways to provide those services. To that end, I also want to comment on a few of the things that we did this week. I had the privilege of going to Elizabeth Hutler's 101st birthday at Bergen Regional Medical Center. And when I was up there, I was really happy to hear from the individuals in the administration that they have now added 20 detox beds since Freeholder Sullivan and I went up there. And they are looking to add the additional 12 in the walls that we want to knock down. Freeholder. So we are working to continue to provide the services for addiction issues. We are, and I'm really proud of the fact that we were able to do that. So We're going to keep up the pressure on that so we can be providing those services for our residents. Also, we had 2 events this week and for individuals with disabilities. One was sponsored by our Parks Department and the Bassmasters. There was a fishing competition for disabled residents at Darlington. It was an amazing event attended by hundreds of people, and it was really an amazing way of outreaching to the community and highlighting abilities rather than disabilities. And Rutherford had their first annual Access for All Fun Fair, which also was wonderful for Bergen County residents as we are continuing to try and bring access for all to every community. I attended yesterday at the New Jersey Brownfield Interagency Work Group, where we talked about economic development issues and helping both Garfield and Fair Lawn and our other municipalities bring some brownfields into be redeveloped. And it was a very educational interchange between a lot of the stakeholders on the federal and state level to give the services and the information to our residents. And finally, the LGBTQ Advisory Committee, which I'm the liaison to, has done some wonderful work, and we are having the first flag raising on June 28th on the anniversary of Stonewall at 5 p.m. It's going to be a pride celebration as well as a flag raising, and I think in the wake of what we all experienced this past weekend with Orlando, it's going to be a very meaningful and poignant expression of the fact that we in Bergen County embrace our diversity and embrace all the perspectives and are about being inclusive and making sure that we are responsive to the needs of all members of our community. So, Chairman, I thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. So, I end up going last rather than repeat what everyone else says about the cuts that were made and the diligent work that was done. I want to thank you for your hard work, all my colleagues. I want to thank the Treasurer, Joe Lupino, and the County Executive for making themselves available at a moment's notice for questions that this board and recommendations and possible options for cuts. I'd rather focus on a bright spot as the Chair of the Parks and talk about that the Parks revenue is up this year. And a big part of the increased revenue is in our golf. And we're using that money to reinvest in our park systems. You've heard a lot of visions from this board and from the county executive on turning our parks into year-round destinations. So we're investing back into Van Saun Park to make it a winter wonderland, so that in the colder months we still have people coming into Bergen County and have our residents enjoying our parks. I'd like to send a special thank you out to the Bergen County Clerk, John Hogan, who sat in our meeting and pretty much as soon as the meeting started told us how, due to his ability to budget since he's been the clerk and the money he saved each and every year, he was able to give back money to this board, and we were all very thankful for that. As far as things that we did, they already mentioned the Teen Arts Award. Just to give you a little perspective, there were over 500 entries into that program. So what you see down in the lobby was selected by the group from 500 pieces of artwork. It's really, not only is it inspiring, but it just shows you the talents and the importance of having art in our schools. And lastly, I just wanted to congratulate Dr. Oliver Stringham, the North Arlington superintendent, who had a career in education, 36 years as a teacher, as a principal, and as a superintendent of town. He retired officially, starts July 1st. On behalf of the board, I presented him with an accommodation on Monday evening at their Board of Education meeting. Dr. Stringham was, as Dr. Voss will tell you, he was a true educator, but really cared about the children of the town. So when he had to make decisions whether to cut or not cut, it was made in the best interest of the children in North Arlington, and I want to thank him for his years of service. That concludes my report. So there being nothing further to come before this board, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned.